Salutations, everyone. Today we're going to go through my 2026 reading journal for quarter one. So in this update, I'll be going through January, February, March, and then the setup for April. And yeah, if you don't know, I already had set this journal up back in the end of 2025. So if you want to know more about this notebook here and also anything that I put in design wise, I will link the setup for this notebook in the cards and in the video description down below, so check that out. And as you can see here, I have definitely made some progress into this notebook, although I'm also going to be making some changes as to how I went about this notebook for the first quarter, because mistakes have been made, but you know what? It's fine. We live and learn. So first up, I did expand a little bit more on just like when you open up the notebook itself. The title, the nameplate page right here is the same, but I decided to add just a little bit more decoration here on this side. It's a mixture of stickers from the Sticky Club and also from any printable digital stickers from Archer and Olive. I don't actually think I can link to this particular printable sticker set anymore. If I can, I will link in the video description down below. However, I kind of doubt it. Now, these kind of stickers, I'll try to see if I can find the exact sticker sheet as well and link it in the video description down below. But any other links, I'll just try to see if I can find the actual links too. And as you can see here, there's a little bit more added to the index a little bit. I actually do need to add a couple more things actually to the index, so I'll do that later. As far as my reading intentions and 2PR, not really much needs to be added, to be quite honest, or crossed out. I'm still working my way through it, and having this page for my Call rating scale has been very helpful, not gonna lie. I tend to look over it multiple times. As far as anticipated releases, it has changed. So I don't know if you can see here, but I did a little bit of using like a glitter gel pen to distinguish books that I have read and ones I have not. So you've seen this gold here for A Long and Speak in Silence. It's in gold because I had an e-arc from the publisher, and then Quiet Spells, this one's in silver because I read it via audio, even though I had a physical copy. And then we have something like Seasons of Glass and Iron, where it's in gold and silver because I had an e-arc and an ALC. So yeah, I just try to like use the gold for anything that I read with my eyeballs, and I use the silver to keep note of anything I read with my ears. And as you can see here, we have a couple of books here that are new, because the books that were behind here before, if you check out the setup video, the books behind these book covers here, I generally have no interest in actually like reading them, so I decided just to bring in some new books. So we have The Call of Crowns by Chinaza Bado, that's the sequel to Birth of the Dynasty. And then we have Off the Reservation by Stephen Grant Jones, which is actually a sequel to The Only Good Indians. So I thought that it'd be perfect to have these two sequels here, especially since I have read the first book in this series, and then now I'm trying to get my way through The Only Good Indian so I can read this sequel when it comes out later in the year. Also, some different editions as well. This book I read literally late in 2025, so I was able to check it off. I still haven't read Behind Five Willows, which I got an e-arc from the publisher. This Retro Beauty, we also have a little bit of silver and gold, but the way I did it here, actually, I did it in the sense of just like, I just purchased a physical copy of it. I haven't gone like as an advanced copy or anything like that, which honestly I could have done for like Quiet Spells, but whatever. It is what it is. And then we moved on from here as well. There were still a few more books that I also decided to just like, I'm more interested in these books than the other ones I had underneath here before. Then we have Ship Happens by Mason Deaver. I actually got an e-arc from the publisher quite recently, so looking forward to that. And then I have The Last Contract of Isako, which I still need to read. It's coming up pretty soon. I do hope to maybe get an e-arc or some sort of arc of The Intrigue by Silvia Moreno Garcia, so I'm hopeful for that one, but we'll also see. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I do like how I made some more progress on the anticipated releases page. Well, spreads, not gonna lie. And also taking out any books that I no longer have interest in. Let me just put in a book cover for something I'm actually interested in. Alright, so physical TBR. As you can see, we had to expand on the physical TBR page here a little bit. Got a little tip in because my birthday passed, actually not too long ago as of I'm recording. So I need to add in some room for the books that I recently purchased. I've already making some note as far as like books I've read. So this nice blue here are books I've read. Any of this like lighter blue are books that I've on hold. If I have a slash here in this nice blue here, it's because it's on pause, or I'm still reading. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So I have The Only Good Indians in that way, and also Song of Solomon as well. They're both books I plan on making more progress in. but I'm just slow going on it. And just to make note of that as well. But as you can see, there's still a lot to go as far as my physical TBR. But you know what? We have an entire year. We have years to come, so no rush there. And then the Reddit Fantasy Book Bingo for 2025 to 2026. Not gonna lie, not much actual progress since, well, the end of 2025. I made one progress with 5 short stories, and that was reading Seasons of Glass and Iron by Amal Al-Multar. Everything else here, I'm just like, I'm just not gonna get to. You know what? It's not the end of the world, though. I made pretty good progress in this bingo board, and I don't know when this video is going to come out, but I do plan on making a wrap-up video for this, like, year-long readathon bingo board here, so if it is up before this video, it'll be linked in the video description down below, and if not, it will be linked after this video goes up, you know, just for continuity's sake. Let's see, Self-Destruct TBR, I decided to get rid of Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Savage, not really my thing, and I haven't started any of these other books yet. Wrecks by Friends, not much actual progress either, so not much to say here. But my DNF Graveyard, well, definitely made some progress. There are 6 books now I've so far I've DNF'd. And as you can see here, there are the titles and the progress that have been made. And these are definitely books I definitely do not see myself coming back to. Like, I'm actually quite sad, though, that I did DNF The Island of the Silver Sea because it was the only e-arc that I have here, like any advanced copy from a publisher. This is the only one, and this is from like 2025 as well, so kind of sucky, but I did try. Look, I tried really hard to get through these books, and if I'm bored, I'm bored. Progress has been made, and yeah, we'll see how long it takes for me to fill this up by the end of the year. So far, though, I have managed to not DNF so many books at once. So, or at least so many books that I consider to be part of the graveyard at least. But so far I am making some progress. It's only a quarter of the way through the year. And now with the series TBR, I've definitely made a lot of progress actually with my series, more so than like last year, which is great. I love that for me. So now I've caught up with the Singing Hill cycle. I did decide to just not continue with the, what was it, the Nempeshwisit series, you know, To Shape a Dragon's Breath. I decided not to read the sequel. I have no interest in the sequel. I completed Spells for Life and Death duology because of Quiet Spells. I caught up with the Supernatural Investigation series. I decided to DNF the Immortal Dark trilogy. I do know that the 3rd and final book in the trilogy has been announced for late fall, but I generally have like no interest actually if even continuing on with Eternal Ruin. I think Immortal Dark, I just really enjoyed it as it is. I don't think I really want to read more of this story. I'm still waiting for the Tapestry of Fate, waiting for that one. I still need to read The Death of Shame. I don't know what's taking me so long, but The Death of Shame, I should be able to finish the series because I actually own the last book in this series. I just need to read it. I don't know what's taking me so long. So I'm hoping that for quarter 2 update, this series is complete. Patternist series, I'm also hopeful for this one as well because I did decide to continue on with this series, and I did also purchase physical copies of this entire series as well. So really, less of an excuse actually to not finish the series. So I need to get onto this series ASAP. So maybe in the quarter 2, maybe quarter 3, depending on how long it takes me to read Clay's Arc and Patternmaster, but pretty soon I should be able to finish up this series this year. Unearthly Delights trilogy, Tangle Roots doesn't come out till 2027, so this is gonna be like this for like the rest of 2026. Unless I get an arc or something, so you know, other than that, it's going to stay that way. The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. I have made so much progress on this series, y'all. Literally, I ended 2025 with just reading the 1st volume, and now I'm up to, like, volume 8. That's, like, amazing. And then I'd be completely caught up in the series. I think volume 9 might come out in 2026, but I don't know yet. Don't quote me on that one. I need to actually really look up if that's really true. But as far as I know, there should be the 9th volume should be coming out within a year or so, so looking forward to that. But I am kind of dragging my feet a little bit and catching up on this series because, not gonna lie, I really was reading through these books. It was so good, and I'll be so upset when I catch up. So yeah, and then here's the Birth of a Dynasty trilogy. We already have Birth of a Dynasty that I've already read, and then now the Call of Crowns, which will come out in November. So, looking forward to continuing on with this series. And then now I still have room, though, for some more series. Now, if I do end up reading way more series than this particular page has room for, I can add in, of course, a tip-in for more series. But until then, I'm actually quite satisfied with the amount of space I have left here. And then I'm still making some pretty good progress. Now, as far as the advanced copies tracker, I actually really like how I did this tracker. I like the fact that I can see all the book covers for every single arc, except for this space here. This is actually a space I actually just kind of like got some like label paper and just put it on top of the book cover and stuff, because I did decide to just refuse to give feedback on it. So I decided, like, you know, since I'm going to refuse feedback on it, there's no point in me have the book cover here. So if you already know what the book cover is, y'all know what it is. If you don't know, that's fine, because I'm not going to review it anyways. But yeah, I made progress here. This is from late last year. And then we have Season of Glass and Iron, Amari, Long and Speak in Silence. So I'm definitely making some really good progress right now as far as like my arc reading. I just need to get through now these three. Let's see, the last contract of Isako comes out in early May. Behind Five Willows comes out late May. And then we have Ship Happens that comes out in mid-August. So I definitely have some time with Ship Happens, but like these two books, it's coming up pretty soon. And I really, really want to review these books before the publication date, especially with the last contract of Isako. So this is actually a major priority for me for at least the month of April. And then May, you know, I get you like Behind Five Willows and stuff. Maybe even Ship Happens. So hopefully by the Q2 update for this reading journal, I would have already read these three books and then probably get some more arcs as well. But yeah, so far, pretty good progress here, actually. Book Matrix, something here. Book clubs and butter reads, not gonna lie, not much actual progress here either. Not much actually to be said here. And then we have the Year of Goober, which actually I'm having a lot of fun with. And yeah, so far, these are the books I've read for the first 3 months. I have Birth of a Dynasty, Amari, then Quiet Spells. And these are the prompts. We'll see about April, May, and June. I'm not totally sure which prompts I'll go with for whatever book, but I am trying to make note of which prompts that these books fit into. And I have the spaces for all the book covers. And yeah, I really like how this is looking so far, and I'm making pretty good progress. And then we have the Buzzword-a-thon, which actually I'm making pretty solid progress in. I'm actually kind of surprised I already have like 4 books already for this reading challenge here. I'm still going to have some trouble, though, with very word-specific prompts and stuff, but I'm being optimistic. I'm going to remain optimistic that I'm going to find some pretty good books here. And then for Adventure in Aldea, I haven't really made the greatest of progress here. I do like the way I made this, though, with like a tip-in map here. But so far, I've only read like 2 books for Adventure in Aldea. Now, I have made like a note as far as like what path I'm going on. So I do need to read a thriller for March and then read a book entirely in the morning hours. So I don't know if I can like, well, I can't quite double up. It's not really the point of the reading challenge. But if I need to, I might just have to double up for March and April, because I need to keep it chugging, okay? I'm literally in school. I have to keep this chugging. So I might just find a book that's a thriller and then try to read that thriller in the morning only. So that's the idea here. Or try to read a thriller and then, I don't know, I could have 2 separate books or the same book. I'll make it work. But I think that's it, though, as far as like any of the front matter stuff. So let's actually flip through to January. So for January, I decided to go with a really nice cover page here. This particular art piece here was created by Sylvain Meunier, I think. I will link the artist's, I think, social media. I think it's like Instagram in the video description down below as well for this print here. I kind of just like found like an image on their like Instagram and just like put it on like, then I printed it on label paper so that it's easier to put into the notebook itself. But also, as far as these stickers here, I also got it from the Sticky Club as well, which I'll just link the website itself, because I don't know which particular sticker sheets for this one. But I really like how this one looks. Trying to go with the color of blue here as a central color theme. And then here are my reading stats for the month. I actually read 5 books in January, which is a lot more than I thought I would. Not a lot of pages, not gonna lie. I didn't really finish any books, so that's why the page length here is none here, because I didn't actually finish anything with my eyeballs. My format is completely audiobook, so all the 5 books I read as an audiobook, or at least I tracked it as an audiobook. And the audiobook duration has been pretty short to like around mid-length. The average rating was a 4.45, which is really, really high. And then as far as my book buying and savings, I decided to also keep track of that actually for every single month. So for January, I only got 1 book as an ebook, and it was for free. So didn't really actually spend any money. And then as far as anything I've borrowed, I borrowed 15 materials, physical, ebook, audiobook, DVDs, and this is the total amount of money that I saved for my library. And then the net overall here is over $300, which is really good. I'm very, very proud about that, actually. And it is definitely something that I try to keep track of as I continue on with the year. And then these are like the books and also movies as well. So this is actually the pieces of media that I have consumed in the month of January, which, since it was so early in the year, I didn't read that much, but I also did not watch that much. So I was kind of fine with mixing in the books that I was reading with the movies that I've watched. And I only managed to watch like 2 movies. We have People We Meet on Vacation, and then we have Dogman, which are both book to film adaptations. Yeah, and then here's the calendar page as well. And then we have some review pages. If you want to read the actual reviews themselves, you can go ahead, but there are spoilers in here as well. Even the way that I formatted these book reviews have actually changed as you continue on with this video here, because, I don't know, I was just trying to figure out what would really work. And I also did make my own Copilot rating stickers, and then my own star rating stickers, so that I have room for all of that. But as far as the formatting of these reviews, it's fine. Some worked better than others, because I was trying to figure out how to do it with a square notebook, since I've never actually have used a square notebook before. But regardless, though, I kind of really like the fact that I have the book covers on here and the Copilot rating stickers, and there's room for my ratings as well. And as you can see here, so far, Birth of a Dynasty was actually the highest rated book of so far in the past actually few months. So far, this is actually the best book of the year so far. And it's not actually a 5-star. It's very, very close. It's an 8.71, which is about a 4.75 stars. Very close to a 5. Not quite there yet. I have yet to actually find a 5-star read. Hopefully in Q2 we'll get there. And now we're in February, which I really, really like that. I went with more of a purple theme. Now this art print here, I also got, I think I just printed it just like regular paper, I think. And then I just like printed it and put it on my journal here. Now this one is created by GDB Art, which I will also link their socials. I think they have a website, so I actually will link the artist's website in the video description down below to check it out. But yeah, I really like this piece. And I also really like the way I went with the title of February here. And then we went straight into our reads and our calendar. I decided to actually have the reading stats page be towards the end of the month, like after all the reviews. And as you can see here, I do have more book related stuff here. I only watched like 1 movie the month of February. And since it was such a short month, I actually had some trouble just finishing books. So I actually featured some books I just end up DNFing because I had so much space on here anyways. As far as the books that I've read here, I found some more middling things. I didn't really read much that I really particularly loved, but I definitely did at least enjoy. So I think the highest rated book was Funny Story, which was a 7, which is basically a solid 4 stars. And I think the lowest rated was Blob, which was a 5.29, and that was like a solid 3. So yeah, and here's the calendar. As you can see, not much actual activity in the month of February. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I literally had to deal with a barking dog. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. First review, Marty the Metalwork Menace. Enjoyed it, but didn't love it. And then, as you can see here with Blob, I didn't even finish my review because this book, y'all, I don't know. At the time I finished it, I was thinking like, oh yeah, it's a 3-star, you know, not great, but it had merit. And then after a while, I'm like, this is probably more of a 2.5, but I kind of just left it the way it is. And I didn't remember it much of anything of Blob to even continue on writing my review. So I just went with like a singular post-it note. Like I didn't care. Okay, I just can't. So I'm just leaving that as it is. And then I kind of did experimenting as far as like having multiple reviews in one page. And yeah, I think it kind of worked a bit. I don't know. Actually, I don't particularly love that, not gonna lie, especially with Funny Story, because this was the best book of February, and yet I didn't have a full page for it. So I don't know. Maybe actually this should have been half a page. Whatever. Anyways, actually, the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon Volume 4 was actually my least favorite. So not gonna lie, this should have just been half a page because I really did not have that much thoughts on it. But as you can see, I put in thoughts in it, but it could have been half a page. And then here are my reading stats, my book buying stats, and all that. I finished reading 4 books. I did mix up in formats. And page length has been the same, audio duration, and my average reading was a 3.56, which is not great, but you know what, it could have been worse. And as far as book buying, I did purchase about 8 books. Most of them actually were physical, of course, and I got them for the most part from Barnes & Noble and a little bit of an indie bookstore, and then I purchased 1 audiobook. And then I also did borrow like 12 materials from my library as well. Yeah, so these are the number sets, and then my total savings is just about $160, which is still a lot of money, but also I did spend also a lot of money in the month of February for books. But you know what? No regrets here, because I just had a great time, not gonna lie, getting those books, and also I did borrow a lot from my library, so I think it all makes sense. March. Now, weirdly enough, I managed to consume a lot of media in the month of March, and as you can see here, there's no cover page. I don't know why I did not think of having a cover page for the month of March, especially since it's my birthday month. You would think I would have one, but no, there's no cover page, and not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of upset about that fact. But it is what it is. And as you can see here, the calendar page is pretty decorated here because there was a lot of media to consume. I mean, look at even the reads and the media consumed page. Like, I had to have a whole tip in here. Look at this. 18 pieces of media. Most of it actually are movies. And then we have some books. Which, not gonna lie, I don't like the fact that I watched so much movies so that I had to put a lot of movie reviews on here. Because like, this is a reading journal, not a media journal, where I put in books, movies, and TV shows. This is strictly a reading journal. So that's why, actually, after the month of March, I had to get a media journal so that I can have all those media reviews over there and then leave this journal as a reading journal. So this is going to be the last time you will see much of like any movie review stuff. But regardless, these are pretty much the star ratings and stuff for all the movies I've watched. And I do have Letterboxd. So if you want to know actually some like actual thoughts on movies that I've consumed, I do recommend checking out my Letterboxd. And I did also try to experiment with like a singular book review with quiet spells here, and I don't particularly like it because I went with like actual written explanations for Cawpile and just some other general thoughts, and then here's the actual sticker for Cawpile. It's more of a tip in here. But not gonna lie, I don't like the way it looks. It just looks weird to me. I don't mind having like format, genre source, and all this stuff here for a book, but I don't like this bit, so I'm not doing that anymore. And then since I watched some movies, I put some movie reviews on here as well. I do recommend Rafiki if any of you have not checked this one out. Pretty good. Only yesterday, Studio Ghibli, really good. Let's see here. We have the Secret World of Arrietty, which is also Studio Ghibli. Enjoyed it. Not great to me. I rewatched Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro. And then I also watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which on Letterboxd, I didn't actually put in an actual review because at the time I couldn't really think about what I wanted to think about the movie. So I'm going to need to rewatch it so I can actually put in a better review. But this is my general review of Frankenstein if you are curious to know my actual written thoughts on it. So pause here if you want to read it. If not, keep on moving. We'll just keep it moving. And then I watched Wake Up Dead Man, which is the third installment in like the Knives Out mystery series. Had a really good time with this one. It's actually one of the best movies I have watched so far this year. I also did watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire, or Portrait de la jeune fille en feu, in 2019, or 2000, crap, I forgot what 19 is in French. Shoot. I don't remember was it 19? Oh yeah, 2019. Okay, yep. Thank you to a voice behind me here. This is what happens when you're in a kitchen. Anyways, I really enjoyed this one as well. This one is also a sapphic film like Rafiki, and this one's in France. This is taking place in France/Italy, while Rafiki takes place in Kenya. So, recommend this one and Rafiki if you have not checked those out already. And then now I also have Seasons of Glass and Iron, which I really enjoyed. I do have A Longing to Speak in Silence, which as you can see here, it does not have an actual fully written review. I will get to finishing writing my review here. I just kind of finished it pretty recently, so I'm still putting up my thoughts on it. And also, it took me a really long time to read this book. I don't know why. This is a freaking novella, and yet it took me a whole month, the whole entire month of March, to finish reading it. I don't know. I think that's more of a me problem than the actual novella problem, because it never took me this long to read any of these novellas before. But I don't know, y'all. I was having some difficulties with this one. But hey, I still recommend this, though. I think this is actually my least favorite of the novellas, but I felt it's still a timely novella, just like the other ones are. This one is about migration and displacement, so very timely for how the United States right now, and always, actually. And then I've been reading a lot of like the unselected journals of Emma M. Lyon, so this is volume 5, which at the time was my favorite installment. Really enjoyed this one. And then we got a couple movie reviews. I actually watched The Wind That Shakes the Barley for a film club at my college, which was really, really cool. And then Hot Girls with Balls was the only book I managed to finish reading for the Trans Rights Readathon. I didn't actively participate in the readathon because, not gonna lie, I just read books written by trans authors like all year round. But I did want to read a book or two during the actual readathon itself, but a readathon like this requires me to do for the entire month, okay? Our Girls with Balls it is honestly technically the least rated book that I've read so far in 2026, but it was the most intriguing. It was way more interesting than Blob, so that tells you how overly rated I put in Blob, okay? And then I have Batman Ninja, which I think was the last movie I watched, and yeah, this was a bad movie. This one wasn't good. And as you can see here, I have some space here because I was not going to have time to watch another movie. And then as you can see here, we have the Unselected Journals of Emma L. Lyon. We have Volume 6. We have Volume 7. I still need to continue on writing my review for Volume 7. And again, if you look more deeply into these reviews, they are going to spoil. So do not look too deeply here. But if you want to know my thoughts, I mean, pause and read. And then as far as Volume 7, then, well, I didn't finish. So we'll get there, okay? We'll get there. And then we have the stats for March. So I have read 7 books, which is so far the most I've ever read so far in this year. Not gonna lie, I'm actually quite shocked that I read that many books. As far as format, let's see, no physical books here. Read mostly from my library, and my average rating was a 4.07. Pretty solid stuff, actually. Book buying went up a little bit, of course, in the month of March because of my birthday, but I did also borrow a lot from my library. So my net overall is nearly $200, which is still great. So even though I bought a lot of books, I'm still borrowing a lot as well from my library. So pretty good stuff here. That's it for quarter 1. Now let's quickly just go over what I have set up for the month of April. All right, here is the April cover page with also the title. I don't think I particularly like the way this looks, but I like the idea behind it. Because this art prints here are from an artist named June D, and I don't think her shop is available anymore. I mean, not like anymore, but maybe he's been closed. It's been closed for a while, so I don't know if you can get these prints anymore, but I will link her Instagram down below in case you're curious about the artist herself, at least. And then I have some stickers from like the Sticky Club. Yeah, just for like the empty space, because honestly, I didn't really have an idea how I was going to go about it. I just wanted to use these prints. So it's not cohesive as a cover spread, but I like it nonetheless. And I like the fact that month of April is right here in the middle, in between Yor from Spy Family and Lashana from Total Drama Island. And then this is where I have my place for my reading stats, book buying stats as well. A lot of these stickers here, I kind of forgot where I got these stickers, so I don't know if I can find a link for them. I like the fact that how I layered them at least, so that it takes up the remaining space here, and I still made sure I have my space for all the circles and graphs and things. And then I have my space here for all the books that I'm going to be reading or completing, DNFing, pausing, all the things. I have all that space right here, and then with the calendar for the month of April. Again, not really cohesive with a theme or anything, but the color scheme I think is there throughout. It's like this nice pinkish tan kind of colors, I guess. Yellow hues, I think. I don't know. I don't really know, y'all. I'm just here for vibes. I just do things based on vibes. And then as well, since it is April, it is the start of the Magical Readathon, Spring Equinox. So as you can see here, my calling is Tome Binder. And then also I do have the classes I have to take and then the prompts for those classes as well. I did thought about actually making room for like the book covers that I will be able to read for this, but honestly, the way that my schooling has gone, I doubt I'll be able to actually complete this readathon in the month of April, so I might have to push it also to May. So I'm kind of just leaving it like this just because. And then last but not least, we have the Reddit Fantasy Book Bingo for 2026 to 2027. So I decided to make this as a full spread. So here's the board itself. I think this is pretty solid stuff here. And yeah, I think I can make some actually good progress in this board. And then this side, this is actually we're going to put the book covers that associate for each of the prompts. And I want to do something a little bit different here with this readathon here. And that's pretty much it, y'all. That is my update for quarter 1 of 2026, and then as well my setup for April. Now, as far as how this is all going to go, again, we're not going to have any more movie reviews, so The rest of these pages here are all going to be filled with book reviews and book reviews only. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to structure the book reviews yet, but as of right now, I'm just really excited that I can have way more space for book reviews. So if I have more thoughts, I can actually make more thoughts. Or if I want more decoration, I can make it a whole spread instead of like a page. Or I can have a page. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out, but that's something for me to worry about in the future. But yeah, thank you all again for watching this video. If you like it. Comment down below your thoughts. How was quarter one of 2026 for you, reading-wise? Also, you made this far in the video, not sure what to say, but you want to leave an emoji, let me know you're here. I don't know, maybe leave some sort of like winter-related emoji here, since quarter one was mostly in the month of, well, the winter months, really. But now they're in spring, though, I'm really excited about that as well. So, I don't know, you can decide between winter-related emojis or spring-related emojis. Pick one of the two or both, I don't really care. Anyways, thank you again for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!